Hey y'all, welcome to Feminine After Dark. This is a safe space for women. So, we're going to be talking about desires, a lot of questions that I have for myself, just an open topic, open conversation. So, if you are watching and you see this video, feel free to like, feel free to share, feel free to comment and let me know your thoughts. Whatever works. So today I'm just going to be talking about a question that I have in the back of my head that I want to talk about. And that question is, do I want the things that I desire, or am I just trying to fill a void within my life, right? So when I say, do I want the things that I desire, I'm first going to start off with the fact that I lost myself within my life. And when I realized it because I noticed I was chasing a lot of things that God did not place in my life for me. A lot of things were placed upon me for experience purposes, lessons to be learned. Sometimes I was supposed to be a blessing, just a simple blessing to people, and I made it more than what it was. There was a lot of things that I felt like I was chasing, right? So I'm not going to elaborate too much on that, but just doing that caused a lot out of me, right? So I started to be firm, aggressive, just really hard, and not what really God required me to be. And just noticing that, I felt like it made me a custom survival mode. So just basically taking the fact that I was independent and just surviving, and it started to pour over into a lot of other different relationships, right? Yet there was things in my life that I truly desired that I felt like I was still chasing, but they were not things that were, brought to me. So, as I was just pouring over a lot of this survival accustomed into different things, such as relationships, motherhood, I still could not truly be what God required me to be. Whether it was to be soft, gentle, a mother, nurturing, just a blessing, just like a safe haven to people, individuals, even myself. I couldn't be that because I was accustomed to survival mode from chasing different desires that God did not call of me. So I had already failed myself multiple times throughout these experiences because I kept chasing these desires, not noticing that everything that was coming into my life was of destruction because I was chasing them, and it was not something that God had called upon me. So even after everything was destroyed, and even after everything had failed, I still could not realize why, you know. And it was just because I was not being the person that I was supposed to be. So I slowly just realized I was not in touch with myself anymore, right? Just requiring respect, commitment, answers, attention, a lot of things that I still was not getting. Yet I was still causing myself a lot of unnecessary damage that was not needed. Eventually, I turned around and I began to take moments for myself. I started to breathe. Yet I noticed there were still things that I desired that I did not get. So, did I truly want these things that I desired, or was I just trying to fill a void? Eventually, I got the answer. I was trying to fill a void, right? And that void was within myself. What was I missing? Something that I had all along, right? So, whether it was regarding a relationship, companionship, jobs, people, a lot of people know when you go to work and you sign up for a certain job description and your boss asks you to do other things and you failed at job because that wasn't on your resume. It was kind of like that, right? So um, everything that I was doing was just failing because it was not of me. It was not the person that I was. It was not the person that I was designed to be. So it failed. And I kept trying no matter what. It kept failing, and I couldn't realize why. So I decided to stop giving attention to all those little things and just be what God required me to be, right? So I started to be gentle again. I started to be kind. I didn't want to be accustomed to survival mode. I didn't want to be hard. I didn't want to be firm. I wanted to be gentle. I wanted to be loving. I wanted to be caring. I wanted to be what my children needed. Um, Even on days that I was tired, I was not able to be the soft, nurturing, safe haven person that I needed to be within my home. I was not that person that I needed to be for myself. I was so hard on myself that I almost broke into pieces. I was overwhelmed. I was overstimulated. And a lot of things were being demanded out of me that I didn't have. And I noticed that God didn't make me to take on all this hard labor. You know what I'm saying? And all of that was pouring over into other people. And I started to realize that a lot of these things were failing because how could I be what someone else needed or what someone else required out of me when I couldn't even be that for myself, right? So I noticed that fighting wasn't my identity. Fighting wasn't who I was supposed to be. I was supposed to be a woman. I was supposed to be soft. I was supposed to be gentle. I was supposed to be loving. I was supposed to be caring. No matter how many times it failed, no matter how many times that it didn't work out, that was still who God required me to be. And I decided to answer that. So it took a lot out of me to take accountability for all the things that failed before I had reached that point. And I stopped chasing all of those things that I desired, and I started allowing what God had put out there for me to receive. And the fact that I did that, I was no longer in survival mode. I was able to be that soft, loving, gentle, caring person that I needed. All of those things that I was chasing and desired was already within me. The woman that I constantly kept trying to change and be was already within me. I just had to allow myself to be her. And in order to do that, I had to take accountability for the reasons why I wasn't. So, whether it was with or without the things that I desired, there was still a certain person that God had called me to be. There were certain characteristics that God gave me for a reason. And I was not able to do or use those to its full capacity because of the things that I chased, the things that I desired for myself, and not receiving what God wanted me to receive. So, regardless, I will still be that woman that I always desired to be because that's who God made me to be. Whether I have the things that I desire or not, I will always have what God wanted me to have. Do I miss the feeling of desiring certain things for myself? I don't think so because it felt so empty and lonely that I was angry and frustrated and sad. And no matter what the feeling or the emotion was, the only question that was in the back of my head was why? Why is everything failing? Why me? Why is this not working out for me? Why? And I had the answer all along because I was chasing things that God did not want for me instead of sitting back and receiving whatever it was that God had for me. So, again, the question is, do I really want the things that I desire, or am I trying to fill a void? And just being whole and receiving that gentle, caring, nurturing part of myself, I poured a lot of that love back into me that I was chasing, that I was looking for, that I already had. And I lost it from just moving so fast and chasing a lot of things. I started to go back and regain myself, and pouring all of that stuff back into me. I noticed that I no longer had a void. There was nothing that I needed to fulfill. So all of the desires that I thought I wanted, I no longer chased them because I didn't need it anymore. I realized that I had everything that I needed within myself. And I started to be more gentle and caring, and being able to pour that love over into my children, and just being that safe haven for my house, because my kids didn't need someone that was in survival mode. They needed someone that they could depend on when they needed love and care and gentleness. And I was very stubborn. I didn't want to take accountability for that, right? How dare someone come into my life and say that you're the reason why everything failed? That sounds like narcissistic. It sounds like manipulative behavior, but in actuality, it's true. And a lot of women won't understand that a lot of the things you desire, you will not receive until you're able to realize the person that you are and the things that you are meant to do in life. And you can still be independent. That does not mean that you can't chase your goals and be a hard worker and, make money and things like that. But you still have to have that open space to be a woman and be able to receive that gentleness, that softness that you're supposed to provide. And without that, the world will never function right, because you're not in your position and you're not playing the role or the part that God made you to play. So everything will always be in destruction because of that. Whether or not you do have a companion that comes along and fulfills your dynasty or makes your kingdom whole, it won't matter. Because if he does come there and you're still not in your position or your place, the kingdom will forever fail. Even if he doesn't come, you still have to play that role within the home. That's who you are. You're supposed to be a feminine, soft, gentle, loving, caring person, and that is the most powerful thing that a woman can have, to be able to actually play her position and be the person that she is meant to be. And I just kind of want to leave something with my women today. No matter what it is that you desire, I am not telling you to give up on your goals and to not chase the things that you want in life. I'm saying that even with being independent and being a full-blown head of the household type of person, there are still some things that can be left off and put on hold for you to be able to receive the things that God has for you. And with that being said, this is Feminine After Dark, a safe place for my women to be able to express and flow, and feel free to say the things that you would not say on a daily basis. I thank you for tuning in today, and if you are here at the end of this video, please like, share, and comment. Feel free to let me know how you feel and your thoughts.